What is up, my little bunny babies? Welcome back to the vault. It's your boy, MC. Something in the way titties. Again, my apologies for another late upload. I was very much planning on doing this review and uploading it as soon as I saw it. But obviously I've been incredibly busy and just haven't had the time to upload anything, and my laptop is incredibly shite. So, but the film I will be reviewing is The Batman. Let's just jump straight into it. This one opens with a first-person view perspective through the eyes of Riddler before he commits a brutal and rage-filled murder. An absolutely splendid cast for this one. Robert Pattinson dons the iconic cowl, and honestly, he's proven his naysayers and haters all wrong. He's an absolutely excellent Batman. I think definitely up there, top 3, 100%. Pattinson is joined by Zoe Kravitz, who plays our sleek and sexy Catwoman. I think Kravitz might honestly be my favourite iteration of this character. She's honestly badass. Both are joined by Andy Serkis, who plays Alfred. We don't get to see much of him, but he's still great. There's also Colin Farrell, who looks unrecognisable as the Penguin, Jeffrey Wright, who plays Detective Gordon, and John Turturro. The freakishly talented Paul Dano plays the Riddler, and he's honestly phenomenal. He's equal parts unhinged and intelligent. I'm really glad that the Riddler got his chance to shine. He's a great Batman villain. The story for this one joins the Caped Crusader as in his second year fighting crime as he goes head to head with the Riddler. The script has such a wonderful slow burn, which in turn really strengthens the pace and flow of the narrative being told. This is probably the angriest Batman we have gotten on the big screen, but it totally works for the overall tone of the film, which is the darkest and grittiest one yet. I know that shouldn't come as any surprise because these Batman films seem to keep getting darker and grittier, which I didn't think was possible, honestly. But it works. The whole narrative is super slick also, with so many villains and supporting characters. This film could have easily started to feel bloated and tired. It doesn't once feel this way, though. Each character feels fully fleshed out and like they jump straight from the pages of the comics. I also loved Bruce's narrative arc. He starts off, like I said, as an extremely angry and broken young man before becoming somewhat healed at the end of the film and becoming like a symbol of hope for the people of Gotham. The aggression is surely still there, but I felt as if a lesson had been learned and a pinnacle reached for his character. The action and combat, what little there is so impressive and enjoyable. From the brutal beatdown at the start of the film to the electric car chase between Bats and Penguin, all the way to the end action set piece. This film has definitely gone for quality over quantity, and I bloody love that. The end scene especially, the chaos and the mania are built up so well that the excitement is palpable when Batman explodes his way through a skylight and begins performing some impressive combat and acrobatics. The story and the action definitely complement one another. You have the slow pacing, intriguing story with tremendously well done action as the payoff. It's just so refreshing to see Bats back on the big screen kicking ass again. Matt Reeves writes and directs this one, and honestly, what an absolute masterpiece. He gives us a gritty crime noir action thriller, breathing new life into a character that I bet a lot of people thought wasn't possible. Reeves certainly takes The Dark Knight in a new direction, and it works so bloody well. Unlike other iterations, Reeves fully explores Batman's title as the world's greatest detective. I'm looking forward to seeing this side more in future films, because in previous films before we haven't really gotten the detective side of Batman. Mostly though, Reeves has given us a beautifully shot film. The cinematography is absolutely gorgeous. It's the same cinematographer that worked on Dune, so it's no surprise that every shot is just beautiful to look at. There's far too many for me to start listing in terms of the shots, or I also wouldn't want to ruin it, as you know, the cinematography in this film should be viewed with one's own eyes, as it is absolutely just beautiful. Being a fan of Reeves, I was highly optimistic when I heard he was taking the reins of this film. I hope he comes back, to direct more installments, because, I'll be there front and centre supporting him. And if this is going to be a trilogy, I hope he comes back for the next 2 films in this trilogy. The only thing I really learned from this film was that I never ever want to visit Gotham or ever live in Gotham. I don't understand why people don't, move out to somewhere else. But then I guess Metropolis, you've got Superman, not that much better. So there we have it. There we go, guys. There's my review for The Batman. Let's jump to the 2 most important questions. Question number 1, would I recommend this film? I would 100% recommend this film. It's definitely a different Batman film in terms of tone than the somewhat overly polished Chris Nolan films, and I love the Chris Nolan films. So I was very wary about going into this film, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you are a huge Batman fan, then you will definitely enjoy this. But even if you are just a casual cinema goer and you're looking for something to go watch with your partner or family or whatever, then yes, I would definitely recommend this film. Question number 2: does the film belong in the vault? The first time I watched this film, I felt like it was missing something. I couldn't quite place my finger on what though. After my second viewing today, not today, because it wasn't today that I saw it the second time. I've seen it 4 times. Honestly, every time I've seen it, this film is growing on me a lot more. I'll probably watch it a 5th time this Friday, and that'll be the last time I watch it though. There are still some issues. For example, in Nolan's films, primarily the first 2, Batman is seen as this menace to criminals, someone or something to be feared. Criminals don't know, that he is just a man in a suit, so that increases their fear of ever running into him. There's this sort of mystery surrounding Nolan's Batman, so when he does attack from the shadows, it feels that much more satisfying and that much more horrifying for the criminals. However, Pattinson's Batman just seems to walk around like a normal, everyday person, rather than just appearing like Batman before him. Some examples of this: early on in the film, Pattinson is led into a crime scene by Gordon rather than just kind of being there already because he's already heard about the crime. The second instance is when he goes to the Iceberg Lounge for the first time. Rather than finding a strategic and tactical way in, he just knocks on the door and proceeds to fight his way to Penguin. This kind of really brought me out of the film the first time I watched it. Now that I've seen it, more than once, this issue kind of diminished the more I watched it. I also, I understand that this is a Batman who's new to doing all this, so he's not quite gotten like the theatricality and the strategy, of entering into buildings quite down pat yet. So I'm willing to give, it some leeway. But hopefully we see that side of Batman in future films. But I won't lie, the first time I watched it felt like there was no mystery there. No, how did he even get into that building? Add to that, and spoilers here, that Barry Keoghan's short cameo as the Joker felt very generic. Obviously, I won't make judgments until I see him properly as the character, if I get to it all. But his laugh just felt very generic, and I hope they don't bring the Joker into the second film, because there's so many, other Batman villains that would be great in a second film. Having said all that, though, I found myself appreciating the Batsuit and Batmobile a lot more. I wasn't too sure of those two things from the trailers. But obviously seeing them in the film, the Batmobile specifically was awesome. Howling as it powers up, before he starts chasing Penguin in the Batmobile. That howl honestly sent shivers down my spine. There we have it, guys. So though we don't have it, I know what I'm talking about. But I still thoroughly enjoyed this film. Even the first time I watched it, even though those issues were there, and even though, that issue with Barry Keoghan is still there anytime I watch it, I still really thoroughly enjoyed this film. I love, the route that it's taken. I love that it kind of explored the detective side more. I love that it wasn't just action scene after action scene, that, you were kind of fed one action scene, and then you were made to wait for another one, and every action scene after the last was just absolutely incredible. This film may be a bit too long, but then I feel like every scene, you can't really take any of the scenes out, because every scene serves the one before it and then serves the one after it, so you can't really take any scenes out. But it is a long watch. But I've thoroughly enjoyed this film. I've been looking forward to it for so long. So having said that, there's that little double star that's gone off, followed by a howl from the Batmobile. This review's turning into a long one. But okay, there we have it, guys. This is my very quick review, not quick review, for The Batman. If you've seen it, you loved it, let me know what you loved down in the comments below. If you hated it, again, let me know what you hated down in the comments below. As always, guys, if you like what I'm doing here, I'm going to be 10 minutes. If you like what I'm doing here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with your friends, your pets, your families, your friendly neighbourhood howling Batmobiles. Until the next one, peace, love, my dudes. With some time to spare, yeah, boy.